Hi folks, welcome to another insightful interview on Spark Igniting Minds. Today we are honored to have with us an extraordinary architect, artist, adventurer and visionary Sunil Shelar, a graduate of the prestigious Sir J.J. College of Architecture, Mumbai. Sunil has spent over 40 years shaping India's architectural landscape with a wide range of projects spanning from institutional and industrial designs to residential and recreational spaces. He had the privilege of working with the legendary architect Charles Correa, and his work reflects the depth of that mentorship. Not only is Sunil a master architect, but he is also a passionate biker, trekker and painter with solo expeditions from Kanyakumari to Kashmir and beautiful Himalayan landscapes captured on canvas. His contributions to projects like Manyata Tech Park and Angadi Silk stand as iconic landmarks, and his commitment to sustainability is evident in his transformative work on a Miyawaki forest in Shirwal, Maharashtra. We are excited to dive into his incredible journey today. Let's welcome Sunil Shelar to Spark Igniting Minds.
Namaskara Sunil Shelar sir. I welcome you to my YouTube channel Spark Igniting Minds or Belakina Kidi, and I'm very pleased to have you on board today. You are a celebrated architect deep into art, architecture and adventure, and a hearty welcome to our channel sir.
Thank you so much, madam. It is my not only pleasure but an honor to be with you, and I'm really happy.
In this episode, let's explore your insights, your experiences into architecture. And to start with, I would like to ask you a very simple question. What inspired you to join the JJ College of Architecture in Mumbai, sir?
Yes, that was my brother's doing. I had got a seat into medical. I was very good at art and in my school, and he was doing his commercial art at JJ. And he told me, Sunil, you are wasting your time. You become an architect.
Okay.
So I was worried what my parents would say. But I gave the exam and I was in the merit list and I joined architecture.
Okay, but your aspiration was something else?
My aspiration, I was a little confused. Everybody is confused at that point of time.
Yeah.
And my parents wanted me to become doctor.
Yes.
But then my inner voice told me that I should become architect.
Oh, that's great. Sir, you had the privilege of working with a legendary architect like Charles Correa, and he is a recipient of Padma Vibhushan also. So, how was your experience working with him? And 3 significant projects you were with him throughout, and how did you feel, sir?
Well, it was a great honor again and a privilege, of course, as you said, to be with such a great personality, not only an architect but a thinker.
Okay.
So he was, he is and he was legendary. He has received several awards, international awards, almost all the top awards in architecture. And I happened to be working with another architect after my graduation, Uttam Jain. He's also very legendary and very good architect. So one of my work Mr. Correa saw and he asked me to join his office. Again an honor. Somebody asking me to join.
Yes.
Otherwise people would wait for years together to be in his office.
Yes.
And here such a great personality.
And you were so fortunate that you were chosen.
So what a fate. Meaning sometimes the everything aligns and your luck shines. So I was with him, and as soon as I joined his office, there was a great project going on, Vidhan Bhavan Bhopal. It's a state assembly building for Madhya Pradesh. So I worked on that, and it is come out very beautifully. So my first project was that, and I did all the drawings. That those times we do hand drawings.
Okay.
And there was no computers. Back in, I'm talking about back in 84. So there were no computers in those times. So we had to really work really hard.
Yeah, I have seen my grandfather. He was an overseas engineer with those drawings, you know.
Yes. It was a tough task.
Yes.
So we started with that, and then I did almost 8 years of work with his office, and we shifted to Bangalore in 88. And in that time I did a number of industrial projects.
So you worked with him from 83 to 90?
90, yes.
Okay.
And later also, as I was an associate with the projects I was handling, so since he shifted back to Mumbai, I had seen promise in this city. I thought this will be a good city for new people like me.
Okay.
And my
So
wife.
you came to Bangalore in 88?
88, yes.
Okay. So the other two projects also you must have worked, Jawahar Kala
Yes,
Kendra.
Jawahar Kala Kendra and his house, which is an office now, and now it's a Fab India outlet. So that that actually I got it built. You know, that was the first time. Though as an architect, I didn't know how to build things.
Okay.
But here I was driving the contractor to do the work, and you know.
Right.
So they were very significant projects. Charles has this philosophy that the universal, we talk about Navagraha Mandalas.
Okay.
You know, in our architecture, it's a very famous concept. Age-old concepts come from the Vastu Shilpa background of our tradition. So Charles was very much into that, and he.
And what are those Navagraha Mandalas?
So we have Navagrahas, and each graha it's its own place in the thing. So if it is northeast, you know, to Devamula we call it.
Devamula.
And then we have you know, the
Agni Mula, then
yes. So Charles was understood that whole concept,
Vastu.
and we would try and put in even the city planning into that kind of a grade.
Oh, that was
So, yeah.
really
It was
great.
very-
You have really brought that traditional concept in
Yes.
Every
And then we
art
have-
of yours.
yes. And then we have a city planning guide from the ancient city planning guides are there.
Okay.
Yeah, other day I was discussing with your friend, and I was talking about, you know, your friend who has also you interviewed.
Yes.
So those are the books we had in our library, and I was also deeply into the Shastras aspect. And we designed those 3 projects totally on these mandalas.
Mandalas,
patterns, yes.
mandalas.
And even each graha has a particular type of action happening. So even Charles was very particular that we must have those actions happening in those grahas.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
Sir, then architecture actually requires a blend or a balance of creativity and also practicality. So how do you approach your designs with this kind where you have to be both aesthetically pleasing and also functionally efficient?
Well, it comes after a lot of studies and a lot of practice. Nothing comes, simply like that. So it's a continuous study, continuous practice, continuous design. You get a kind of a sixth sense. And then you try and amalgamate all the things together, and it can then become a nature to you. So that is what happened. So whatever I design now, automatically things appear to me because the Shastras are there, the Navagraha Mandala is there, the new aesthetics are there, also the landscape, how the colors would blend into the architecture. So it is, for me now, it's a natural process.
Okay.
So that is how I design each, whether it's a house like this or a large, like a city planning. I can, it happens automatically. I don't know how to relate to that. It is like a printer knows.
Since you know all aspects of architecture, naturally it comes to you.
It's a basically practice
and
too.
Basically practice. For 40 years of experience you have in this field. So, yes. And can you tell us more about your involvement in something called as Bangalore Agenda Task Force, where you had visualized Bangalore after some 10 years or 15 years or so. So how did you visualize Bangalore then?
I was part of this entire kind of what you can say system which Mr. Nandan Nilekani of Infosys, his idea primarily. So that his idea was to design and equip this city for 2030, 2025 or even beyond.
Yes.
What all would be required, you know, you see the metro now, the roads, and so Bangalore was a very congested place.
Yes.
And it was suddenly the IT came in, and then Bangalore started bursting out of its bounds. So then certain areas, outer areas became part of this mega city. So Charles had visualized that also in the beginning, and so when I met Nandan, Mr. Nandan Nilekani, so he was happy to get me on the board, and we worked deeply into various aspects, transportation and services.
All these ring roads and all
were
planned.
Metro also was
Metro was
discussed.
planned.
Yes. Even Mr. Correa was involved in the beginning stage. I brought him on the board for some time, so we would meet then the commissioner of Metro, and we tried to plan it such a way that it can seamlessly become a mega city.
Okay.
But of course, basically
Something like Singapore, they were dreaming of making Bangalore into Singapore.
Very true.
Yes.
Very true. But they did not realize that so much inflow would come in.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
because we had designed probably for 30, 40, 50 lakhs. Now bursting to 1 crore, maybe even
more than that. Yes.
More. So how do we, then contain such a thing? But obviously it's a big challenges. But this planning helped. Not only the government but all the stakeholders such as BWS.
And we can now see Bangalore is becoming more beautiful with all that. But still, there is one kind of sadness because the greenery is vanishing. That's what I feel.
Very true.
Yes.
So at least we are happy here that we have nice garden.
Yeah,
just go outside
yes.
and you see what a mess it is.
Yes.
But the planning is there, and if they implement all those planning and stop this haphazard housing layouts as they call, which suddenly happen and without any greenery planned, then it becomes very difficult.
Very difficult actually.
For the people,
Yes.
and for also the agencies which maintain them.
So, sir, can you tell us more about your sustaining environment of creating a forest by a process called Miyawaki method in Shirwal? You have created a forest altogether, and how did this happen, sir? It's really an amazing task, I can say, and
it is something which is very necessary. I happened to visit Japan. I did a Toyota project along with Kirloskars, and me and Mr. Vikram Kirloskar, sadly is no more. We both went to Japan, and I saw, because I was a guest of Toyota, I could see all their factories, and I designed a factory here in Jigni called Kirloskar Toyota Textile Machinery Project. So for that I could get a lot of help from the Toyota people.
okay.
And primarily for me, I was when even city planning, I was also very interested in creating greenery. The city cannot be just roads and buildings. There has to be greenery as well. The ancient cities would have gardens right in the middle, like we have Kaban Park right in the middle of the city.
Right in the middle of the city.
Yeah, so
Yes.
similar things were there in the ancient cities also.
So this is a Japan method of
Yes.
creating
Yes.
an artificial forest.
Artificial, not artificial,
Yeah,
plant.
it is
It is an endemic vegetation which is endemic to that area. Endemic in the sense, the term is applied for
Creating
something.
something called as a biodiverse.
It
kind
is
of,
something plants from that region itself. We can't have foreign plants being brought here.
Right.
So when I was doing that, Mr. Miyawaki actually created a forest for the Toyota project. That is the time I understood in 1997, 98 time that something like this can be possible.
Okay.
So when I was handling Shirwal project, my own project in Maharashtra, in MIDC, Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation, that whole site was totally barren.
Okay.
And which
It was an
troubled me.
arid land and
Totally arid
yes,
land. And the whole of that area is arid. And over that, what MIDC does it, just because the plots have to be sold, they just bulldoze everything, including the whatever remaining bushes and trees, so that lands appear flat.
Okay.
So when I saw that land, I said, how do I, where is the greenery here? So I must do something. One is that I am doing major hurt or injury to the land because we dig. So that was really troubling my conscience. So I said in the beginning itself to my client that you have to give me out of 7 acres, 2.5 acres to do forest.
Okay.
Client was good and he said, yes, Sunil, we can do that. How much it will cost? Because he was only worried about the cost part. So I said, no, it's just part of the cost. Project was some 15 crores. So he said, whatever it is, you let me know. And I said, it will be just 20-25 lakhs we will spend. He immediately approved it. Then we went about and created the 2.5 acres of lush forest.
Lush forest.
Yeah, and what it takes is that we need to choose plants from that region.
Yes.
And then in plants there are varieties. There are canopy trees, there are secondary, tertiary, then there are climbers, then the creepers, and then there is a undergrowth. And there are weeds also.
Weeds
also. So you bring in everything together.
So you bring in weeds also.
Weeds also. Automatically weeds coming.
Weeds coming.
So you will take them out.
So that arid land you made it fertile and then grew something like that?
Little bit of meaning what they call treatment is required. So these are mostly boulders and all kinds of things. So we brought in red earth from surrounding areas only, not from outside. And then we did little bit of manure in that. And then there is a system of Miyawaki where we have to create a 30 feet by 30 feet square. So entire land was mapped into squares, and then the middle goes the canopy tree which goes highest, and then there are certain other trees go around it.
So all these are planned, like
all these
where a canopy tree comes and where the other trees come.
Because two
and
canopy
you
trees
also create some water body also in it?
Yeah, the two canopy trees cannot go together, so they need to have some space.
Okay.
That is
so one canopy comes at the center.
Center of it. So that is how in the forest, automatically canopy trees will grow at certain distance from each other. Because they follow
Yes, because they have to grow like
yes.
Yes, right.
Then there was a small stream going next to the plot. So we thought of bunding it. So we bunded it.
You change the course of the stream?
No, just the same stream is going. So I did a small bund. So first a little bit of water. Second, a lot of water got stagnated there. And third year onwards it was full. So nice beautiful lake formed next door. And because of which we started getting water throughout the year. And it was
beautiful green forest and all birds started coming in and you created a wonder.
Fishes came in the pool also, meaning that outside thing.
Yes.
And there is a small video which probably I can share. Is that I am walking through a forest which I have planted.
So wonderful.
It's amazing, totally amazing.
Yes.
That you are so satisfied to see how meaning the nature, given little bit of help, can really make us happy to see.
Yes.
So nature really requires very little from us.
And it expands also.
It automatically, unless you cut it, chop it, it can grow.
Yes.
It can grow. And that is when client saw it, he was literally enthused. And most of the clients, because he was an SEZ, his clients are all in Germany, Japan, and in USA. He would start calling them. He said, "Look, the forest which we have created." It became a big town, a big talk
of the town.
Entire that area. A lot of people started visiting it and started, creating gardens. See, this is how we can influence. Nowadays we have influencers, but this is how we can influence the whole of the community around. Even we do the same. I think we have the best of.
Sir, you have been into planning townships and you have created a few of them also. And I'm really surprised because this is not an easy task, because building a township is you have to bring in so many things. You have to bring hospitals, education institutions, roads, parks, then so many bus stands, railway stations, airports, so many things into it. And how do you really do that, sir, if you can explain it?
Well, I'm not really a town planner, but I worked on New Bombay as well, long time back. And when New Bombay was coming up, I understood zoning. So we need to have zones where commercial zone, residential zones, there are the bazaars, markets and mandis, all kinds of things, APMCs, railway stations, metros, future plan. So I understood when I was looking at New Bombay that all these critical aspects have to be taken into consideration while planning. So when we were doing Bangalore township in North Karnataka, we took all this into consideration. It was of course a smaller town, primarily maybe about 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs. So it was planned on the similar basis that center is the government and primarily the government sits there, and then surrounding is offices, and then as you go little away you have residential areas, markets, and then in the center again we have buses, bus terminuses,
stops, commercial places and all that to
so
the
then,
center,
then
and all the residents at the periphery.
So it's primarily radial. The planning is done radially. So that center can keep track of all the things which is happening around. And also becomes easier for commute and things like that. So people come to work in the middle and equidistance from all the surrounding areas. Not like Bangalore where we have
something like I have heard that Chandigarh is a very well planned city.
Yes.
Because I had been to Chandigarh and it is all divided into sectors.
Exactly.
Yes.
Zones and sectors.
Zones and sectors.
It's a very beautifully done. That was Nehru's, our great Prime Minister Nehru's vision to create a kind of an influential township, new township based on the new ethos, new ideas.
Okay.
So he brought in a very celebrated and well-known architect called Corbusier, and he planned the entire Chandigarh new township.
I think there is a park also.
Yes, there is a lot.
Okay. Sir, and your interior designs for maybe Angadi sales, retail shop, and again Wipro, very technical space you have created, interior space. And how do you approach and what challenges did you face while creating both interiors for these two? I mean, you have to bring in elegance and also functionality. So how do you do that?
And identity too.
And and a brand identity for the yes.
So each client is different. There are interiors can be for the office, for a shop, for an IT office, or for a house. There are various other things, or for the malls. So each has its own needs, and air conditioning comes in, colors come in, services again becomes a major thing. So we look at each interior as a separate project. One type of typology cannot work for the other.
Okay.
So if it is a sari shop like Angadi, which we did, even the building was built by us and even the interiors were done by us.
Okay.
So they have certain vision. Each client has his own idea and the way he wants to display. A certain the costliest saris may be on the top, exclusiveness, and simpler ones below. So they have their own ways of, and they want to also display in a certain way. So we go by their needs, their needs, and then of course their budget. See, if he wants to spend an amount of budget, then we are happy to bring in all the exclusive finishes and things. For the IT, of course, it's a simple thing. We create modules, but their front offices are very different and exclusive. So we did a lot of those works. I haven't done much of interiors for the houses. So whatever we design the houses, we do interiors for those houses.
And I have seen this house. It is such a beautifully made house, and you have got some philosophy blended into this. And you called it as moksha part, artha part, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. you have brought all this into this house. And how did this happen, sir? And we are sitting in a place where there is a big rock here, and it appears to be as if we are sitting in a cave. So can you explain or elaborate more on this, how you built this house?
Yes, so when we started digging, we found this rock. So that time my Kannada was not so good. So my person who was working, he said, "Sir, bande ide." So I did not understand what bande mean that time. So I thought, it's a stone. So I said, "No, take it off." So he said, "No, sir, bande ide, doddu ide." Then I came and I saw, and I was really,
surprised to see a big rock.
And as they cleaned up, I saw the rock is rotting there at the beginning of that plot at the back, all the way to the road.
Okay.
And I called my Swamiji, who is in Himalayas then, he is no more. So I called him, he said, "No, don't even touch it. This is a kind of a monk sitting here.
Okay.
So try and don't disturb him."
Okay.
And try and minimum, trouble to the rock. And since I was in that kind of a philosophy of, because we have followed this four dharmas, the dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So I said, artha would be on top, kama in the middle, and this is a moksha. And dharma works for everything. You see, unless dharma, nothing can be achieved. Yes. So you got to be part of whatever dharma you follow. Dharma in the sense, good living, good practices. Dharma doesn't mean any certain religion or thing. Dharma means you got to be good at everything you do and be kind and compassionate. Okay. So then I was compassionate to the rock and then the rock is compassionate to me now. It gives me so much pleasure.
The whole ambience is so nice.
Yes.
With a rock behind, and it is so cool over here.
Absolutely.
And even I am surprised about the vents that you have created and the lighting that is there in this this cave. I can call it.
Yes, it is a cave for me.
It's a cave.
Throughout the year, this remains cool. And even winter it is really cold. And I generally sleep on this because I like to sleep here. It's very cooling and almost there are no noises here.
Okay.
It's a very good, my Swamiji would come and sleep here. And all the kinds of saints have come.
All they have meditated for days, you say.
Meditated for days here. They have performed Agni Uttara here. So that's it is only because of I kept the rock as it is and created a space. So these vents act like a draft. So and then we have a central skylight. Now as you know that hot air rises automatically. So we have got a vent right in the middle of the house, big skylight where the hot air goes up and cooler air is all the time coming in. So always it is fresh. Even if I lock my house and go for a month, there is a fresh air inside.
And I can see a lot of good and divine vibes over here. That is fantastic, sir.
Many saints are visited. So there are a lot of saints. All the big saints have come from Himalayas and from here also. They have come and visited. And I am really blessed.
And in this house again, there also, on the top floor or in the middle floor, I can see lot of ventilation that you have created.
Yes.
Small those glass boxes that you have created. It is so amazing, sir. I really love that. The way you have created, even without a single electrical light, the house is so lit. During the daytime.
We haven't ever used, we also very little use of fans in this house because it's a natural ventilation. No air conditioning whatsoever we have used it. And at that point of time we didn't have money. This house was built at 6.5-7 lakhs. Entire house, you imagine, in 2000. We didn't have money. So all the doors and windows you see, they are out of packing wood. And people would ask me, will it last? I said, I don't know whether I will last, but they would wait. That is how, and a lot of people come here and say,
And even at certain places you put a kind of jali kind of a thing. where there is a lot of
The bamboo,
air and light
yeah.
entering.
Bamboo is a very naturally good material. When wind comes to the bamboo, automatically cools down. Bamboo has that quality.
Okay.
So in north, if you see, they all use bamboo curtains. That is because bamboo cools the
keeps the house cool.
Yeah, it absorbs the heat.
Okay.
So that is what we use.
I'm in love with this place actually. Very nicely made.
We have Homakunda and we have a small well here below.
Can you share one of your proudest moments? Maybe while getting a project or while getting a recognition after completing a project.
Yeah, several. God has given me, and God and my gurus had given me so many such moments in life that it is. I have been able to do adventurous treks, adventurous motorcycling. But the proudest moment can be, by telling my guru, Charles Correa, that this is the fine project you have constructed. So that it could be the proudest moment. And in 1990, I had left his office. Yet Charles Correa asked me to come to Barcelona, where he received a gold medal, Union of Architects gold medal. So I was really pleasantly surprised that he, even after leaving his office, had so much of love and respect. He said, "You must come to Barcelona."
He had a lot of affection.
Yes. Even now, the family is still in touch with me. Mrs. Correa, his daughter who is in US, they all talk to me, and we are trying to do, how to keep the Korea traditions going, his thought going and reaching the world. So we are working on that through conferences and other.
So you had a chance of being with Kirloskar. Yes, can you explain that?
That was my brother, as I mentioned, Sudhir. He was a messiah for me. He is a messiah. So what happened was, when I left Charles' office in Bangalore, I have no idea what to do in Bangalore. So he said, "Sunil, this is maybe a stupid thing to do. You should not have left Korea." But then he also accepted the fact that I want to venture on my own. He said, "Sunil, then I will introduce you to my friend Mr. Vikram Kirloskar." He was working with Kirloskar, he was an MD. So he introduced me, and Mr. Kirloskar has just returned from his Masters in Management from MIT. And we became very good friends in short while. And then the next thing I know is he's calling me over and said, "Will you do a project for me?" And then I got in my lap, the first project was Kirloskar Institute of Management in Harihar. So that was something really out of the blue, I can say. And as we were talking, he said, "What are you doing this Saturday?" So I said, "I had no projects, I had just left." So he said, "No, we will see the site." And then the Saturday the driver comes and takes me to the old airport. That time was only the old airport. I said, "What are we going to do?" Because I think Harihar is only 350 kilometers away. So sir, आप flight में जाएगा. So here is the Lady Luck shines, and I was sitting in a private jet. First project. And we flew to Harihar, just near Kirloskar, 2 pilots. We landed the Birla Harihar qualifier strip. And that is how, it's a dream beginning. Meaning, thanks to my elder brother Sudhir here.
So, and also you have been to Japan many times, and you have gained a lot of technical knowledge also from them. And how did those lessons that you learned there, how did you impart it in your
Japan is, I don't think it is in this world at all. It is something out of the world, because unless and until you see Japan, you can't even visualize what Japan is. I was fortunate to see Japan and make some friends there, and I saw their philosophy towards everything. So there are so many things which are above general people here, that they are very methodical in their whatever they do. There is a philosophy behind it.
Okay.
And then in the factory I saw various things working, which is later on now come here when Toyota moved here. Something like the concept like FIFO, FIFO, I call it, first in, first out.
First in, first out.
JIT, just in time.
Okay.
Then
and something zero.
Zero, yeah.
What is
Zero
it?
inventory.
Zero inventory.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
the end of the
It's
day.
one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there is no ready goods there, neither the raw material. So there are only tools.
No
remain.
raw materials,
No
no
finished
goods.
goods, yeah.
Everything is out.
Out, yeah.
Okay.
So
no
I was,
inventory.
yeah. So it is something which is
Yeah.
impossible to think of it
Think
here.
of it out.
But then when I built a Toyota factory, all those
and the
concepts.
inventory is here for years. It will be
Years,
like
yeah,
for years.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So that is a beautiful concept they work on. Absolutely clean floor. You see, factories are like many better than even hospital. A spick and span. And
Yes.
even in those days when I visited first time, I could see robots moving on the paths.
Oh.
And whatever you needed, a tool or a product, will come to you. Just sort of punch some buttons, and the robot would come to you and make some noise. So pick up the tool and you press a button. Again, you would go and stand in the queue.
Or to get the tool for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice.
That was crazy for me to see first time. Later on, I got used to it.
Okay.
But thing is, because of this Kirloskar Toyota partnership, I could go interior of the. Otherwise, you are not allowed to see their factories.
Okay.
But I could go inside. I could talk to the people. Fortunate enough to meet the great man Shuichiro Toyoda himself, and he called over me and Vikram Kirloskar for a dinner. So such privileges I would have never expected, in my ever in my dream also. And it is all people who are setting up. They do this. Even this interview you are doing is something similar.
And also, sir, about the TQM, the total quality.
Totally quality management. These are all. There are various
the work
concepts.
ethics that they follow.
Various concepts.
And very soon they have come up even after the Hiroshima
Yes,
and Nagasaki
yes.
incident.
That shows us tells us so much more about their.
We have to learn a lot from
their
them.
what you call discipline and their never say die spirit. When Hiroshima Nagasaki happened, they were totally decimated.
Yes.
At once upon a time, great power, totally decimated. For that, I would recommend. There is a book by Sony founder called Made in Japan.
Made in Japan.
It shows how Japan came up again after the complete demolition of
Destruction.
Japan, complete destruction. And this Sony founder
Hmm.
has only one aim he had, that I must sell my product in America. So his was the first product, the Sony Walkman.
Oh, Sony Walkman was the
old
first.
days,
Okay.
which he himself went to New York, set up his shop. The first Japanese to go there and set up his shop. And he started selling Walkman there.
Okay.
And then the whole revolution happened.
Revolution.
In Japan, see where Japan went.
Japan
The bullet
is
trains
today.
I travelled in.
Yes.
So magical. In 1997, 98, I was travelling in bullet trains.
Wow.
In there.
Hmm.
And I saw entire Japan. So wonderful it is. And everybody should. I'm saying that people who want to do something should at least visit Japan once to see how wonderful it is. Even now, though we have some trains here like Vande Bharat and things like that, Japan is another level altogether.
Level altogether.
Yes.
Sir, and you are a man of multifaceted talents. I already told you, you are into architecture and you are into art also. I can see so many of your paintings over here, landscape paintings of Himalayas. So how do you do this, sir? And the beauty of these paintings, I really want to appreciate. It's very beautiful. And how do you do all this, sir?
So these are the places I have visited, and especially this one. This is Bhagirath 1, 2, 3, and this side is Tapovan, and the middle the glacier is there, Gangotri glacier. And my guru would sit on that rock, and he did a meditation.
Oh, you
there.
have okay.
There is one small figure there, and he used to sit on that rock. That rock is there, and Bhagirath actually sat on that rock. The great Bhagirath. Rishi.
Who got
Ganges
Ganges
down.
down.
Had a meditation, did meditation here.
Okay.
So for me that is like I could probably hope to one day sit on that rock and meditate.
You also want to become a Bhagirath.
No, I don't want to become Bhagirath. I just want to remain Sunil, but also do something which is my dream. I actually visited this place twice, Tapon with my Guruji. At the age of 50, he took me there. And he said, now this time has come for you to start different journey. So he made me sit on that rock actually, and he asked me to meditate there.
Okay.
So I don't
And
have
that one is
That is a north face of Kailash.
Kailash.
Early morning around 4:35, the sunrise hit the peak.
So it appears golden.
It absolutely appears golden, and this is a full moon. It was when I was there. I was in the other side. There is a monastery, and I stood early morning 4 o'clock onward. It was a pretty cold, very cold. It was -12 or something temperature. Yet I was standing there to just get a glimpse of this particular beautiful sight.
Beautiful, beautiful. And also I have heard that you are a solo biker, and you started a bike ride from surf to snow. That is what you have named your expedition as.
Yes.
And how did you do that? For how many days you were out? And what challenges did you really face while doing this?
Oh, that is something so personal to me. At the age of 50, Sunita, I call her Neetu lovingly. So she presented me a bike. I used to ride a bike in my college days.
Okay.
So at the age of 50, she gives me a bike. Probably she also now get lost or something. So I took it really to heart and said I must start biking.
Okay.
And I started doing small rides here and there. Then I formed a small group of like-minded. They were all youngsters mostly, I was 50, but they were all 20, 25s. So I formed a group called Bangalore Bulls.
Bangalore Bulls?
Bulls, yeah, for the biking club. And the first expedition I took was with all the people, about 20 of them. Only 10 people could go all the way up. The rest would return back. But then one day I said, let me just do alone this particular ride. And I told Sunita. She said, okay, whatever. Because I know that no harm will come to you. She had such confidence in me.
Okay.
So I started from Bangalore, went to Kanyakumari, and all the way up to Nubra Valley.
Nubra Valley. It is beyond Kashmir.
It is beyond Leh also.
Beyond Leh also.
You have to climb Khardungla, go on the other side of Khardungla. Khardungla is 18,768 feet. It's always the snow. The entire
so what's the altitude of this Nubra?
Nubra is slightly lower than
Lower
Khardungla.
valley, it's a valley.
Nubra Valley. So Khardungla is 18,000, around 800 feet. Well, highest pass, material pass. So yeah, I went all the way. So
And you have been to Leh 5 times.
Been to Leh 5 times, God's grace, my Guru's grace, and Spiti twice, and several other. I probably would have done about 100,000 kilometers on my bike.
Okay.
So it still continues. At 65, even that journey continues.
Okay.
So it is just the blessing of Gurus to keep the body properly, because otherwise it's very difficult to.
And you are a trekker to a scuba diver too, and
Yes.
a lot of really adventurous activities. And again, you talk about meditation and adventure, and
so
how they connected you. In your words, how can you say that adventure, meditation, and all these are they must be interconnected?
it is interconnected. It is finally seeking yourself. See, the idea is to seek yourself, what you are, what you are made of. So I thought, let me also go all the way in that direction and see what is architecture can give me, and not only me, others. How can I contribute to others? Then coming to the own journey, what is I made of? This body and bones and blood and veins. How much it can take, kind of roughage. Whether I am ready for all that. So I did that extreme to survive in the snows, survive the whole ride of 7,000 kilometers solo ride, and also art. That's I said I had some good hand. I said I must explore that, how much I can do in that aspect. Then I had seen all that. I said, why don't I see the sea also? I don't know what is below the sea. So then
scuba diving.
Then I started scuba diving. And some of the best places are in India. Andamans actually has one of the best places to scuba dive. And that is fascinating. I mean, if you can do scuba diving, then there is a different world altogether. So again, I am saying that this is only possible because of my gods and gurus.
And my last question to you, sir. I want you to give 2 messages. One message to the budding architects, and the other message, your philosophy of life. I can see a lot of philosophy ingrained in yourself. So, what philosophical advice or message that you want to give it to the audience?
Well, for the architects, budding architects, I recently had a conversation with them in Pune just few days back. They had called me to deliver a lecture there. So I told them to explore the boundaries, of the new architecture, new systems, new processes, new materials. And unless and until you go and experience that, you won't be able to design. And work under a great guru, if possible, and imbibe through visiting great architecture. If there is no great gurus you can go to, then see their buildings and see how they design the buildings, how they go about it. And then on the other side, I'm not great to give a message or something, but I'm saying that I have found solace, peace, fulfillment in stretching the limits.
Okay.
Stretching the limits to see how far we can go.
How far we can.
And how kind we can also become, how loving we can become, how compassionate we can become. So when you stretch yourself, you understand that look, you cannot have any kind of animosity about anything. You have
you didn't wanted to harm the nature also, harm the rock also.
Yes.
Yeah, that kind of compassion.
You have to bring
not only to the human beings, even to the nature, to the rock.
So you have to be compassionate, you have to be loving. You got to also share joy in somebody else's joy. I should not feel jealous. You see?
Right. Yes.
I should be able to enjoy your joy.
Yes.
And then become finally equanimous. That whatever happens for good. So be equanimous. There is no high and lows, even in humans. Treat everybody equally with compassion. Whether you don't see the people only because of they are not born in a poor family or a richer family. You can't consider those.
And you also said me one more thing, that you don't own anything. So what is that philosophy?
My philosophy is right from the beginning I never wanted to own. So nothing is on my name.
Okay.
No car, no house, nothing. So I believe in that. I said less there to own. There is no headache as well. So you own this and you look after that, you protect this, protect that. So such thing is not there. Tomorrow if I pass away, there will be nothing to worry about. Even my body will be given to the medical places to open and dissect and whatever.
And this philosophy is called as zero inheritance, is it?
It is like, don't have anything to...
don't inherit anything.
Don't take away anything.
And don't take away anything.
Give it all back.
Give it all back. Because all that we got is after we took birth.
Yes.
And before leaving, all that we got, we have to leave here.
We can't take anything away.
That is the final philosophy.
You can't take anything away from this.
Yes. And thank you so much,
so
Sunil Shelar, sir. It was really...
Don't call me sir, I'm not that old.
Yes, you have been telling me. And it was very nice interacting with you, knowing your philosophy, your insights, and your architectural excellence. And as a human being itself, I am really blessed to interview you. This is because a lot of things to learn from you. And thank you so much.
I am also so thankful to you, madam, and I wish we are of course good friends, and whatever possible, I will love to contribute always. Whatever things you take part in, I would actively be with you on that.
Oh, so nice, sir. Thank you so much. Namaskaram.
Thank you so much.